Oi, oi. So day one at Galway went okay. First race, we got a bit of a bad result in there. SPs for the places were pretty atrocious. I sometimes like to dip in a little bit earlier, but nonetheless, lost a couple of quid on that race, but we did manage to get profit from Echoes in Rain. Obviously, she went and dotted up in the race anyway, but Blacked in the place market, sort of a safety briefing, is what it is. So thanks for your guys' comments down below. I do always appreciate those things. I like your interaction. I like to know what you're fancying. As the week goes on, I'm sure you might have some stronger bets. So please do make sure you're commenting. If you could leave a like on the video as well, that's handy. That helps me out. And then if you're not already, please do subscribe. But without further ado, there's two races again for day two. It's the first and the second race. I'm about to tell you which ones I fancy in there. My first selection of the day comes in the opener. It is a listed novice hurdle. I've been looking through every single one of the horses in here. I can't really make a case for too many being much better than like maybe 120s, pushing 130s. However, there is one horse in the race that is definitely the mid 130s, and that is Tax for Max. Now, the problem with that is I'm not sure how much better than a mid 130s horse he is. He's only a 5-year-old, so he is entitled to be progressing this season, even though he's a bit more exposed than some in here. So I think he has got a bit in hand. About general 6 to 4 poke, I think he is. So I don't think that's a terrible price. Certainly not exactly steam worthy. You'd want to be fairly confident on a horse if you're smashing into him at 6 to 4. But I think he will take the beating in the race. He'll be there or thereabouts at least. There's not really one that stands in behind in the market that jumps out as like the lead danger. I think Flaming Moon for Matthew Smith with Brian Cooper on board is an interesting runner, if nothing else. Fairly keen and free going sort. Probably does want to lead, which I'm not sure he's going to be able to do in this race, but I think he's one to keep an eye on because I think he could run okay. Brian Cooper will maybe try and hold him up a little bit, but then I don't know if they can with this horse. I think he does need to go on. He won't get an uncontested lead, and that's a bit of a problem, but I think he's a big price, maybe 16s, 18s. He'd be one as an outside price that I wouldn't be wanting to bet, but I'd want to be keeping an eye on just for the sake of saying another horse, really. So Tax for Max and me in the opener. I've had a small bet on him. Like I said, I don't think he's monster value. I don't think he's got a significantly massive chance to be steaming in at 6 to 4, but I do think he'll take all the beating, so that's why I've had a couple of quid on. Second race and second bet for me, it's the 2 mile, 2 furlong beginner's chase, and it's Jon Snow. You may have been able to tell from the thumbnail that I've banged in a Willie Mullins Rich Reekie horse. They did win this race last year with Grand Bernard. I remember a few years back where they had Bamako and Meriviere that got beat in the race. So it's not always a winning combination sticking these ones in here. I do remember backing that horse personally because a bit of a sore subject. Don't really like getting stuck into the Galway Festival in terms of big bets. I didn't have a big bet on Bamako Meriviere, but he had run at the Galway Festival the previous year in a handicap hurdle, and I sort of poo-pooed that. However, Jon Snow has been a wide margin ready winner round this track. Admittedly, he was a short price favourite, but he beat Belfast Banter, who we know went on and did some good things after. So I don't think it was particularly trash. Not that Belfast Banter was probably trying that day, but I think we've got some course form proven there for Jon Snow, which is a good thing. One thing I would touch on with him is he hasn't run on good ground, or hasn't run his best on good ground. It is good to yielding in Galway. I haven't religiously looked at the weather report. I don't know if we could get a little bit or a bit of rain, but ground could be an excuse for him. Whether they just run him exclusively or they just run him anyway because of the fact that his track is a small field and it's experienced nonetheless, that could be the case. I normally trust a trainer to pull him out if it's a big event. That's why the graded races I like to get stuck in a little bit more. But all of that said, I think the horse has got a proper chance. He's around about a 3 to 1 poke. Midnight Run is the favourite in the race. Midnight Run has got previous chase experience. Did run in the Drimmoor as well that Beacon's Edge won, and fell when was probably there or thereabouts. How close he'd have got, I don't know. But I just remember Joseph O'Brien's horse, Midnight Run, being a horse that I had earmarked down as an Albert Bartlett type. Now, Jon Snow is another one that probably is a middle to stay and trip horse, but Midnight Run did win on the flat the last day. And I do like an Albert Bartlett horse to have a bit of speed, but I do feel like when they're going over fences, they maybe do need that whole test of stamina. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about Midnight Run at this trip over fences. I wonder if he does need a real stamina test to put himself into good position, but he has got the good ground and he has got that chase experience. So arguably a worthy favourite, but I do think that Jon Snow, around about that 3 to 1 poke, is a decent price. I'd probably have the pair of them a bit closer in the market. So that's my thoughts on the race.